Though it has been almost 30 years since Val Johnson's incident, physical evidence has survived. Officer Johnson's patrol car. And Ted has brought in a crash expert to help him examine the effects of this strange encounter.
I'm about to meet with Professor George Bible, who studies the forensics of airplane crashes, which I think is really relevant here. So George, here it is.
1977 Ford LTD.
I think the damage was mostly down the driver's side, right? So there's the headlight, some kind of impact around here. Almost all of the reflector is gone as well. The clear glass front's all gone. Look here, the impact marks on the hood. Definitely some kind of deformation though. That impact looks a little odd to me. It doesn't seem like that could happen from an impact horizontally. That looks more like a vertical. And then here's the windshield. Can you make out where the impact marks are?
Well, hard to say. The windshield expert thinks the windshield had 2 impacts from the outside and 1 impact from the inside, which is unusual. The Ford guy said they all happened within a few milliseconds, and they could estimate the speed being very rapid.
The description of the accident and the damage to the car don't seem to make sense. Clearly, something impacted the vehicle. But if Johnson was traveling at 65 miles per hour and collided with something head-on, the police cruiser should have had severe damage. One piece of evidence may show the true power of the impact.
Then here are the 2 bent antennae.
One is bent almost 90 degrees, and I decided it just couldn't happen from an air blast or from impact with a hard object.
Professor Bible shows why he believes the antenna couldn't have been bent by a minor impact or wind blast.
This is a high-strength steel wire, similar to what they had in the antenna, and if you try to bend it back 90 degrees, it has tremendous spring back.
Right, you're only getting about 30 degrees out of it.
So if it impacts a solid object and it bend it back 90 degrees, you can't really bend it further than that with a solid object or a wind blast. Now, you just can't bend it 90 degrees.
Right.
Now, you could bend it 90 degrees by hand. You got to bend it more than 90 degrees and let it spring back.
Is it possible Officer Johnson faked the incident and bent the antenna by hand?
They said that the antenna, while it did get bent to 90 degrees, roughly, that there was still residue left over from bug strikes.
Yes.
So how would you keep that with if it was handled manually?
Well, I don't know. That might be a mystery.
If the antenna was forcibly bent by Officer Johnson, all the bug residue should have rubbed off onto his hands. But that's not the case.
Well, George, we've had a good look at the car. Is there an explanation for all this?
No, I don't think so. Any one single little piece of damage is pretty ordinary, but if you put it all together, it is kind of hard to explain.
And conversely, something that might have bent those antennae, I don't see how whatever that was could have caused these impacts on the front.
That's correct. I don't have a good answer to that either.
Lost time, an unconscious police officer, and inexplicable damage to a car. Did Val Johnson really suffer these alien effects from a UFO collision? And are Cash and Landrum's radiation burns and sickness caused by an extraterrestrial craft? Or is this the hallmark of a top-secret government plan gone terribly wrong?